learning session this afternoon. We're going to kick off with the secretary session, and it is my pleasure to introduce Kristen Hawke, who is the district secretary. She is the secretary of Audit, Finance, Risk Management Committee, the secretary treasurer for Harold Thomas Trust, and operations manager for ROSOPS, and a member of the Rotary Club of Monaco City Sunrise. So she's going to be leading us today. Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank you, Ursula. I'll just share my screen, 1 moment. Hopefully you can all see the slides there. Excellent.
Yep.
So today I'm going through the club secretary role. If I can get this to move to the next slide, would be good. Excellent. So the responsibilities of the club secretary, attending all the district training events. So for those of you who are here today, you've got a big tick, number 1 done, and the district conference. So the next district conference in Veneta's year, it'd be great to see everybody there. It's also your responsibility to keep RI updated and keep your records updated in whatever club management system you're using, be that Club Runner or Flectra. You're also responsible for making sure that the club treasurer has the club invoices, which are due in January and July. And a bit further on in the presentation, I will show you where to find all that information. You're also responsible for taking the minutes at any of your meetings, managing any of the incoming and outgoing correspondence, less so by letters these days, mainly emails, and sending out official notices and invitations. Also responsible for keeping all the club paraphernalia and name badges and items, etc., ordering name badges for new members, etc. It is also the club secretary's role to preserve your historical records and just to assist with other members of your club as required. So we'll have a bit of a look. We'll go into My Rotary. So this is a really good place to find information. You can edit your club goals, you can get reports, you can see clubs, any membership leads that may come your way. Often they come through from My Rotary, and then our district membership team can assign those to your club to follow up on. Within your club management system, you need to make sure that all your club details stay relevant and up to date. You need to add new members and update addresses. Email addresses, if they change, there's no way that you can easily update that within RI. You actually have to send an email through to them, and I can do that for you if you need to change your email address, which affects your login to Rotary International in My Rotary. So I will just stop sharing this screen and I will go into My Rotary. A moment. So when you go into myrotary.org, oh, are we in the right? Are you sharing? Can you see the My Rotary website?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. So when you go into My Rotary and you click on the login, a couple of places to go in the member centre. There is the discussion groups area. So this is actually going to be ending at the end of, what is it, December, I think. The discussion groups are going to come to an end, but there will be a replacement system. But in here, all sorts of discussion groups on anything that's of interest, and you can join them or you can start new ones yourself. In terms of management, as a club secretary, you will have access to club administration in here. So this is under the Manage tab. I'm not my club secretary, so I don't have club access, but it's the same at the district level. So under the club access, this is where you'll see your club finances. This is where you can view your invoices for your club and make sure that your treasurer has that and that they get paid in January and June. So there's a lot of other reports in there on a club basis. In terms of the club central, the number of different ways you can get to it. You can get through it through the member centre here. There's Club Central. You can get through it through management, and this home will take you to your club or to your district for more information. So if we just go through to here. Excellent. Okay, so it'll come up automatically. It comes up with your own club. If you go into the goal, and there's lots of other information across here. It's quite a fun place to go in and have a good look. If you go into the goal centre, this is where you'll set your club goals for the year. And then you can actually see how you're actually tracking against that. It can show you your giving goals. It's all your different goals there. Back into your dashboard, and there's a whole lot of reports also that you can print for your club around your growth, and you can find out who in your club sponsor the most members, what the members are like. Lots of really interesting information. I always find that the membership trends and things are really interesting, and you can see that on a district level as well as a global level. So let me stop sharing that and go back to this one. Excellent. So I guess any questions? That was, oops, hang on, we've a few more slides there. So you're also working with your club leaders, like your board meetings and your club assembly. So you work with the president to set the agenda. You send all the notices out, and of course taking the minutes and distributing them after the meeting. A good way often is a lot of clubs with Zoom meetings. Yeah, if you record the Zoom, that certainly makes life a lot easier. Something really important is around the Privacy Act, and you have to be very careful about the privacy of your members' data. So this could be on any sort of distribution lists, just making sure that if you send out a bulk email that the blind CC'd, so that not all the email addresses are available to, especially to members outside of, or people outside of your club, only using photos of people with their permission, and only collecting data that is necessary. And you can only use it for legitimate purposes. One thing that happens quite often is a speaker will come in and they'll want the details of your club members, maybe to promote their business or their charity or whatever their topic was. Again, really important not to share those details without consent from the members. It's much better to ask the presenter if they have permission. So if you have permission to share their details with your members rather than the other way around. Making sure that any records with personal data are stored securely, either electronically with password protected or in locked records. Not sure if you're aware, but the district does have a storage unit based in Mount Eden, and that is available for clubs to use for a fairly minimal charge. And there is the possibility to have secure records put in there. Again, transporting your records, just make sure that that's done in a safe way, and just get rid of anything that's no longer required. There's lots of information on the Learning Centre. Also, any questions, you're welcome to give me a call. So I guess any questions? Stop sharing.
Feel free to just unmute yourself if you have a question, otherwise add it to the chat.
So just a question. So with regards to mandatory reports to Rotary, was there anything specific, like, the treasurer has to do the accounts for the year? Does the secretary have to do anything like that?
Not on a mandatory basis, but there is certainly, apart from making sure that the bills are paid with RI, and that is actually quite a big issue for a lot of clubs. But one of the things, in order to get a presidential citation, your club can set its goals and keep those updated and keep those tracked. But again, that's not mandatory, but it's very much recommended.
Sure.
Just checking that there's no more questions. If anyone's got any comments.
Kirsten, I was wondering if you could reiterate to people the need to keep the club, I suppose, members' data up to date, and that's around that reporting to RO, and also being charged for your annual dues. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you keep your keep your records updated, it is always good just to check in on the RI site to see what data they have. There is, if you're using Club Runner, that does sink in, but it's often good just to have an extra little look on the My Rotary site to double check that. And as at January and June, the numbers in there are what your club will get invoiced on. So very worthwhile exercise just to go in and make sure that maybe members that have left have been removed and that all new members have been added.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you, Kirsten. That was a really good oversight. Just checking nobody has any more comments or questions. Jackie, you're just unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I did have a question. With the different clubs doing Club Runner and Flectra and that go-between, how do we keep in contact with the wider groups using different accesses? Because some people will be on Club Runner, some people will be on Flectra over this next year. Or do you have any insights on it?
Yeah, so it is going to be as clubs come across, and some are on Club Runner and some are going to be on Flectra. It's basically up to the district leadership team how that correspondence will go out in the future. And I know there is some work being done at a district level of where they're going to sit in this next year, which platform they're going to continue with, but certainly communication data can still be kept in both systems in terms of communicating out with things like LEDS and events, etc., can either come out of Flectra or Club Runner, and it may change partway through the year depending on where the majority of clubs are sitting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. That is a good segue, actually, because we're about to introduce Simon, and thank you, Kirsten. We're about to introduce Simon Gook, who is the District ICT Chair, was for 21-22, and is the President of his club in 22-23, member of the Rotary Club of Auckland East. So hi, Simon, and thank you so much for talking to us today about Flectra.
Yeah. Hey everyone. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week, despite the weird weather that we're having here in Auckland. But you know, I wouldn't be. I'm very happy to present what I can about Flectra. So let me just make that larger and swap screens. Cool. Everyone can see that fine?
Yep, that looks great.
Cool. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to be talking about Flectra, and it's quite a big part, but since it is quite a large piece, I'll try not to overwhelm you with too much of Flectra. I think it's good to get a good grasp as to what it is initially. Yeah, so we'll just get started. So here's what I'm going to be talking about, just a quick introduction, what our current situation is with Flectra and Club Runner. An introduction as to Flectra, if this is the first time you're hearing it, and why I would go for that. I'll throw a few Flectra teasers as well, and just explain the ease of use. And then lastly, the most important thing is what's next for you as the president or upcoming president, or being part of the club. What is it that you can do next? So, for me, myself, I run a company called Cook Creators, which is an IT company. I create and manage websites. I'm also the president of the Rotary Club of Auckland East. So this is what Flectra's logo looks like. And to dive straight into it. And I apologize if I'm talking too fast. Do message in the chat if I am talking too fast, and I will slow down, because there is quite a few things to get across today, and I do want to try and show a little demo as well. So the current situation is that a lot of clubs have been using Club Runner so far as their website builder when they want to create an email that goes out. If they want to create an event as well, it can be also done in Club Runner, but also the management of the members' details. So, you might have the app for Club Runner, you log in and you see all your members' phone numbers and details. And so there's quite a few uses for clubs where Club Runner is a very important part of their daily operations. Whilst, there are some clubs that aren't using this, but I think when you have many clubs that have it and some other clubs that don't, just from a website perspective, so as I said, I'm from a website background, it can be quite a disjointed experience, and I think that's one of the challenges where anyone that goes to a site, anything Rotary related, are they landing on the right site? Do they know how to navigate around? So trying to find a way to make that experience a little bit less disorientating. That's one of the challenges that we've picked up. And as clubs grow and they bring in more members, we want to as technology comes, they have that capability, and they're not missing out on anything. So it is important that as technology evolves, they should have more access and tools under their belt. So currently we're piloting some clubs to migrate as they migrate away from Club Runner to the new system Flectra. And this way, clubs can know the basics first, just get used to it, what the layout is. Once they're familiar with it, we can start rolling out more and more functionalities. So this is a way of future-proofing the clubs by having these tools. So the analogy I say is, well, if you're a learner's drivers, right? Just wanting to learn how to drive a car. I would rather present you a Suzuki Swift, get the basics right, know how to brake, know how to turn, as opposed to throw you into a Ferrari for the first time while learning to drive. So the system is gonna start off with the basics, get most of what you need, and then we can build that upon. So just to set that expectation as to where Flectra is and where we want it to be. We are aiming for the Ferrari, and it is quite ambitious. So just what Flectra is, it's a open-based system. You can probably read this faster than I can speak. So it is a open source. It was named Odoo, and quite a few clubs internationally, or not clubs, like websites and organizations are using this internationally. So with that, you'll be able to centralize a lot of the operations just from one system. So it's almost like a one-stop hub for all club activities, and that's what we're hoping to achieve. So here's some of the things that it can do. It's got a CRM, it's got a sales, accounting even. If you want to make an e-commerce for your site, which you can accept donations. If you did want someone to respond to messages when people visit to your website asking, when is your next meeting, or how do I join, where can I learn more? You've got live chat, you've also got marketing. So it has a wide range of tools that we can just plug in as you desire, and really extend the operations of your club. So why Flectra? Flectra is always going to be expanding its capabilities. The developers are going to be coming in and creating some new plugins, and we can create custom plugins and modules as well. So it is very, very flexible. So that's why I think it kind of can start fitting the mold of what your club wants to do. Also, it's cost efficient. So for some clubs, they're moving away from Club Runner, but not only that, they're moving away from accounting services like Xero, and that ends up being quite cheap because your accounting side is now with this one system. And Kirsten, having the experience of accounting, she's very familiar with what Flectra can do. So definitely, if there's questions on that, but I'll try to answer it. But any accounting stuff, maybe Kirsten may be able to touch on that, but I'll go to the next point. Sorry to sound a little bit salesy, but I think there are a few teasers which I I think Flectra is quite enticing. So, you know, things like connecting to Wind Cave. So imagine now your club can now accept donations, as opposed to going through Give a Little, which I believe is 25%, 20%, something ridiculously high. One particular case for Becky Giblin, she wanted to raise funds and had gone Give a Little. And from the $25,000 or $30,000 that she had raised, $5,000 actually went to the fees of it. So what if we can actually have less fees and just go straight to the cause? And I think this is a fantastic way of accepting donations and taking payments, but also there's taking payments for the events as well, which is also quite good, which is that fourth bullet point. Now imagine yeah, something happened to your club meeting, there's something urgent, maybe wild weather has come. You'll be able to send messages to all your members, just going, look, there's a last minute, we're not able to have the meeting, please do not attend, stay safe, whatever that may be. Or even SMS marketing saying, you know, Melbourne conference is coming up in 6 days, and still not too late. So there's different ways that we can start marketing on the system, which I think is fantastic. And there's different packages as well, depending on if you wanted to use this or you don't. I talked about accounting already, you know, and having coherent domains. That's something that the RosOps team will be looking to do. So, for example, it'll be Rotary Auckland East.club, Rotary Hawick.club, Rotary Makutu.club. Having that consistency throughout all clubs is going to help bring that unity when it comes to so many different Rotary clubs. Now, I'm just trying to preempt some questions here. Some people might ask, well, what if I have an existing domain? What if I have, you know, Rotary Auckland East.co.nz or something along those lines, or .org? Well, you can buy those domains and just redirect to this URL. What that means is that you don't have to reprint all your collateral, and you can have your old domain and just make that switch. So then you aren't gonna have people go to your site and end up, you know, going to a error page or not found page. So having those redirections I see many clubs will be taking a look at. Getting insights as well, knowing what your viewers tick, and it's always good when you've got that data. What is getting the highest views? Why are people leaving a particular page? Rotary News, I'll show this one a little bit later, but imagine you know, you've got your news club on one site, but then what happens if a person wants to just see all of the great things that's happening in Rotary? You can also do that too. So, you know, just imagine it's Christmas time, everyone's celebrating, you know, their Christmas, having their Christmas function, and everyone's uploading blogs as to what their Christmas function looks like. Now imagine 50 clubs posts of just Christmas related things, and it's just, I think it's awesome if the public sees that, because they see that we are a very active organization. So having Rotary's news in one place is actually a beneficial thing. Also, it leverages other clubs' news if you're a smaller club and you might not have as many things going on, right? So we want to make leverage off those news to, you know, and work as a unity, work as one. Last point here, I think is quite cool, is that what you see is what you get. So from a website point of view, you just click, edit, drag in pictures, add a link. You can do all sorts of things to make things tick. And you know, I'll hopefully show that in the demo. So I'm gonna exit this for a bit, and then I'll just go on to this side here. So you all can see that, okay? Okay, fantastic. So this is the Rotary of Howard Club. I'll actually go in incognito and paste that in. And this is what it looks like, you know, if you're visiting a Rotary site. And this is what Flectra from a website point of view looks like. You know, you've got different components that you can use. You've got, you know, a slider here. You can scroll down. You know, you've got this big, beautiful imagery here, which shows where you meet. Very clear points. When do we meet? What time does it start? where can even click on directions and how to get in touch. Here's the news here. So this is built on Fletcher, and think of building a website as components, as segments. You want a banner, you can just drag it in and upload the images. If you wanted to even edit these menus, you can do that as well. And we've got different pages here, which has been created already specifically for this club. So, we've got something like the Bookarama, which I think is quite cool seeing, these pages getting built, because as you're thinking about your club's website, you got to ask yourself, what are some of the things that I want people to know about? Well, what are some of the projects that's going on? What's new? Well, who are we? So that's what we built this template of. So we've got a homepage about us. So the history, what is Rotary, how to get involved, club executives, all of that is sitting there. And getting involved, we've got the process of becoming a member, because I think that's one of the questions that maybe some people wanted to know when they join a club, is like, well, how do I become a member? Having that call to action page there is very important. So this is what the system looks like. So for example, I said this is club stories, this is all the news about Howick. But if you've only got 2 clubs, okay, well, two posts, well, that's okay, but you're building more anyways. But what happens if you do want to view more and go to all of Rotary Oceania clubs? Now that's going to show everything, which I think is actually quite cool to see. So you can see that there. And events, so again, this is another thing I think is quite good. So having events there, people can register, people can even pay for events too. It's quite cool. Now, to actually get started, you'd go to your club here and you just go sign in. Actually, I'm going to, yeah, okay, that should be okay. Fantastic. Now that I've logged in, welcome to Fletcher. You've got a whole series of things that you can do. You can upload documents, add a calendar, add things to a calendar. The website is what I'm going to be taking a main look at. SMS marketing, as I mentioned here as well. So let's just go to websites. And I just want to show the ease of use, because that's the main part of the demo. So I can close this and go back here. So you can see you've got new, edit, which club am I editing, but you only have access to your club. And let's say that I want to make some changes. Well, how about I make, I'll edit this page here. And I go, well, actually, if I want to just edit a full stop, I'll just click on this, delete that full stop, save. Okay, I'm done. So when it comes to editing a site and just trying to pick out, okay, well, where is this? How do I got to go to this page? And no, there's none of that. It's very simple. You just look at what you see and just start making changes. Now I'll try and play with a few other things as well. So what happens? So you can see these are the components I mentioned here before of what you can and drag in. So let's say, for example, I want to really show numbers out of our club, just to give it some proof. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go 30 members and growing. And then you could go maybe 80,000 raised just this year. And you can see that as I'm just clicking on it and typing, and that's all you need to do. With a lot of these components, that's the case. You just need to click over, and then you'll see these tools that you can edit. So actually, you know what? I only just want 3, so I'm just going to delete this one. I'm going to drag this one so it's a little bit wider. And then maybe add something else here. Maybe I don't like this gray, so let's change that. I'm going to change that to a custom, and I want to go for a slight pale blue. Okay, I like that, but I don't like the spacing here, so I think it needs more spacing. Let's just add some spacing here. There we go. So this is just how some of the ways that you can use the system. You know, we've got other tools here like Blink, and I might be going quite fast, but once you've played around with the system enough and realize that, well, whoopsie daisies, I've actually done something really bad here, and I accidentally deleted this. Oh no, I've got 3 instead of 4. Well, actually just discard your changes and just go, yeah, we just wanted to revert back. And now I'm back to where I started. So the nice thing about this is that there is forgiveness when using the system. And yeah, so it is quite cool to see what it can do. And I'm sure there's a lot of questions, but let's just go quickly back to the slides. So what's next for you? I think there's a few things to consider. For some clubs, they like to just use what they're familiar with, just go with Club Runner. All of their board members already know how to use the system. They don't want to add further stress or, you know, a learning curve and to migrating to another system. And that's fine. But for clubs that want to, you know, try something new and know that there's a change up ahead and want to utilize these features, the cost of the system will be 45 GST per month. There is optional costs for clubs that want to have their existing Club Runner migrated to this new system, which is what I've done for the Rotary Howick, Rotary Makatu. Harbourside is on the way, and Rotary Auckland is getting further support on that too. Now, for a bespoke website, this is when, you know, you say, well, Simon, it's sweet that you've got this template and all, but our club is different. Our club has, you know, this, it has that. We can definitely provide a bespoke website based on Flectra, and that's something you can consult with me on for additional services. And I think that's important too. Let's imagine you've got the best website in the world, but it's a billboard and it's sitting in the middle of the desert. How do you actually? You might have the best website, but if no one's seeing it, then what's the point? So that's one thing I wish to address. So how do we get your club noticed? So these are thinking of things like SEO, digital marketing, really putting your club out there. Yeah, and there are a few clubs that are currently migrating first, and we want to make sure that we have enough resources to support them initially. And once they're, you know, good and ready to go, that's we can start onboarding more. But yeah, please contact Kristen if your club is interested in getting started this. She will give some good guidance on where to start, when we can actually get those pages loaded. And also, if your club is looking to switch over and Club Runner is expiring soon and you don't want to renew Club Runner, so that's another reason that some clubs have reached out. So and yeah, questions and comments, I'm just going to check in the chat. Hopefully that was useful, everyone.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah, that was really interesting. Coming from I do some Wix page building, it's quite similar in terms of its interface and usability, which is cool. But yeah, I found that really interesting. Has anybody got any burning questions? John, I'm wondering, is it possible to go into pairs potentially as a breakout to make it a bit shorter? You're on mute.
There is a couple of questions in chat, Ursula.
Okay, there are.
Asked around learning sessions on Flectra. That was one of my questions.
That was a bit further up. Yep.
Yeah, fortnightly sessions, whānau, in the chat. And that's where you register that link. So if you're like me and I'm going, oh, how do I know more? There they are there. So copy that link and enroll yourself or register yourself on one of those.
And you had a question about the cost as well, Edith. Has that been answered?
That was answered in the presentation.
I missed it.
$45 a month.
45, right, I missed that part.
Just
Okay.
on that, that also includes your club trust. So you end up with potentially 2 websites for that and two entities in Fletcher for the $45. And there is also an additional one-off setup fee of $250.
Okay. So if we go into
They're
Kirsten
fairly
or
small
Simon.
anyway, the breakout groups, Ursula. We've
Okay.
only got 3 or 4 in a group anyway.
Oh, that's great. That's fine. Okay.
So-
So Kirsten, Simon, have you got anything that you'd like people to reflect on in their breakouts, other than maybe what would be their biggest learning perhaps as secretary this year? Anything more specific for them to reflect
For
on?
me, I'd like for people to start thinking about what are some of the digital strategies that you could think of, or maybe haven't even thought of, and bounce around different ideas, because I think having a digital footprint and presence is going to be very important as technology goes on. You know, we've all heard of ChatGPT, we've heard of AI, we've heard of all of these different things, and how it feeds through is what digital footprint are you leaving behind. So having that digital footprint and presence is very vital nowadays. So what I'd like for people to start thinking about is, you know, have I been using Facebook or your website? Have I been updating that? Can I do better? And maybe what's some of the ideas that maybe other people have had on how to tackle these digital questions. So that's what I wish for people to implore on.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Okay, so how about I'll head off into our breakout groups, and I'll get the area governors to support people speaking and kind of reflecting on your role as secretary and specifically your digital footprint, as Simon has just requested. Okay, we'll see how we go. And we'll get a bit of feedback from a couple of groups on your return. Okay, everyone's coming back. Fantastic. All right, so I hope that was a worthwhile discussion that you had in your groups. We'd like to get a bit of feedback from at least some of the groups, all if we can, just about any kind of key things that came up, any key questions or comments. Let's go first to Joyty's group. If anybody would like to put their hand up.
Linda actually has got a question for Simon.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, some of our members are just not computer people and they're not updating their records in Club Runner. So I was wondering if I could manually get the details from them and update it in the new system. We are going to Fletcher.
Yeah, when it comes to member updates, I think that's part of the package, isn't it, Kirsten, when we're onboarding the existing members on Club Runner. As onboarding, we migrate all of that content through as well. So in terms of getting that initial member data, that's all covered. And then when it comes to updating onwards, it is just going to be on Fletcher. So it's quite simple for someone to just come in. I highly recommend having maybe one person come in, just get familiar with the system, add the members, as opposed to getting everyone to learn to add their own details. It just makes it a lot more smooth of an access. And I think having that digital bandwidth, I guess you can say, should be spent on other things rather than just getting the member data in. Is there anything else that you can think of, Kirsten, when it comes to that?
Yeah. So each member of a club will be able to automatically update their own details, but then only those members of your club that your club's given administration rights to will be able to go in, and they'll be able to edit every member.
Thank you. Okay, hopefully that answered that question. I think we'll then move to Evelyn's group. If we could have someone from that group.
Right. So we got a lot of people thinking it's too many logins between Club Runner, Fletcher, and RI. Is there anything changing in the future? We can have only one login and password. Second, is any end date of club runner, because there are some clubs they saying that their directors is not supporting to move to the new system. So it is a must or not. And then is there any idea how to making more connection with the old members as well? And we are now doing club runner, whatever. It's not automatic updating your Facebook or website sometimes. So you need to duplicate, otherwise you lose all the social media or public image for that. Thank you.
What I'd say about that is, we've got Club Runner here, we've got Fletcher here, you've also got RI here, and what we had for Club Runner is that you had Club Runner and RI integration. So that means that they can talk to each other, which means that when you edited one, you click on a button and then it starts syncing and the data can connect up. So what you're asking is, okay, well, is there one place where I can just edit it and then I don't have to worry about a few other things? Now, I had a chat with Craig Horrocks, and one of the things is that we're looking, RI was looking to remove the integration with RI, My Rotary or whatever it is. So in the future, that connection between Club Runner and RI aren't going to be talking to each other. So we're going to have this issue of needing to double handle a couple of things anyways. I think that's a little bit unfortunate, but in the pipeline, we want to try and think of ways that can smoothen that process a little bit more. We've done a few MVPs, minimal viable product, as to what we're looking to achieve. Yeah, version 1, version 2, version 3. I think even though that is an important part, we've got other things and functions which is considerably more important. So I think that was on MVP or version 4 or version 3 that we tried to take a look at that integration. And that way you don't have to double handle. So I do understand your concerns there. Kirsten, was anything? Can you think of anything else to add to that?
End date of Club Runner. Do I really need to move forward to the Fletcher?
Well, that's a good question, because for some clubs, like I said, it seems like time is ticking. And you're like, well, I need to make a decision. What do I do? I like this, but then if I don't know how my club's going to handle Fletcher, there's all these certain questions, and it can cause some anxiety as well, which I can understand. For those sort of clubs that's a little bit worried and a bit more conservative, what I would suggest is you can use Club Runner existing systems if you're happy with it. Just renew that for another year. And then revisit Fletcher at a later date. That way, you're not, panicking over these changes. And also, there's a small subset of clubs that's moving to Fletcher as well. So it's going to be a slow migration. We don't expect everyone to move on to Fletcher right away. But yeah, it's something to consider in the future for sure, as more and more clubs are jumping onto Fletcher.
Cool.
Just an additional question to that, Simon. Obviously, a lot of clubs have expiry period to about the end of June on Club Runner. So obviously, they want to change the details from there into the Fletcher. Does it give any spare time after the expiry for us to do that, or it has to be done before?
I can answer that one if you want, Simon.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Club Runner historically has allowed an extra month from the end of your term. Can't guarantee that that's going to continue, so I wouldn't rely on it, but it has been allowed in the past. I think a month is too, if you want to start onboarding pretty much straight away, a few months before you end up cutting off your Club Runner.
Good, thanks.
One thing I'll add to that as well, because I think some people wonder, well, what happens to my data? I've worked really hard for Club Runner. I've added so many different things. Am I going to lose all the information? What I would suggest is that you can actually visit your existing site and right-click and save as, and you'll be able to save your web page. Now, as long as you have saved that web page on your computer, you can drag that file over to to the browser, and then you'll be able to see your site. This is one way of retaining an archive of your existing site. You have to do that for every page. So you have to go through and trail through what those pages are, but you can save it. What's quite good about that is that when the club does finish with Club Runner, at least the information is there, and it's just easy to reference something when it comes to migrating. This is a case for what we've done for the Rotary Club Makatu. Their club was looking to have their club run expire, but we managed to save all the pages so that it is sitting there, and we're not starting 100% from scratch.
Thanks, that's great.
Simon, may I ask the schedule that for us to move for clubs to move to Fletcher? What is the ideal, like how many clubs per month or something? When will we finish everything for the migration?
Well, with the club migration, like again, even for Club Runner, I think John mentioned that there was like only 20 clubs that's on Club Runner. And when we think about like a full migration of clubs, well, we still want clubs to have that freedom to make that decision. We're not going to be a dictator and just go, no, you have to use this. So we've tried to find a best solution that can work for multiple clubs. And I don't think there's an exact set date, but we try and strive to do that within, I'm being ambitious here, but 9 months, a year. Kristen, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, it certainly makes life easier if the majority of clubs are on one system, but there's no set date. We're leaving it up to the clubs to when they're comfortable. But yeah, we are certainly onboarding clubs now. So if any club is ready, you can start onboarding now.
Bernard has a question, Simon. How long will it take for migration if they decide to come on board from 1st of June?
Yeah, so and I think it's quite good to break down the steps so you know exactly what happens during the migration. So what would happen is that you would inquire and have a chat with Kristen and just go, yeah, is this actually the right product? I've got certain questions. Just have that confidence first. And there is that weekly training that you can see there, link there on how that fortnightly regular sessions work. Once you're comfortable to make that decision and you're like, yep, I'm putting my hand up for the club. The next step is, I think there's an invoice that gets sent out. Kirsten can fill their side of things, but as I mentioned with the domain, Rotary, Howick, Rotary, Auckland East.club, we first buy the domain. Once we purchase the domain, we start setting that up on the Fletcher side, so then we connect it up. So then now you've got, access to Rotary Auckland South or Rotary Ellerslie, .club. Once you've got access to that, then it's for me to come in and do my part and start migrating those pages over. In terms of timeline on how long that could take between a week to 2 weeks on my part, and for it could be a lot more faster depending on the size of your club as well. But I try and strive to get it completed within the week. And Craig would do the setup and things within, I think he can do it within, he's done it in days and sometimes hours, right, Kirsten? So
yeah, it can be pretty fast. Usually the delay is from the club side deciding what information they want to bring through and what they want. The new website. The one thing that does take a bit of time is setting up a WinCave account. So we've got a national WinCave account. So this means that for your e-commerce, and that involves some AML, and so that can take a number of months to do, but that doesn't stop you going ahead with the system. That's just the final icing on the cake to be able to take payments online. That's the biggest holdup.
Thank you, guys. We're just going to have to wind things up now. I'm just wanting to check with Steve as the last group. Was there any additional questions that you could add that we haven't already discussed? No, all good. Fantastic. Thank you all for your questions. Sounds like it's been a really worthwhile discussion, and I'm sure there will be more questions as we look, at this new system. And I'm sure Kirsten and Simon, you're both available for us to contact you if we have more questions that about that. So thank you so much to both of you for your presentation today. I hope you all got some good learnings out of that. Thank you very much. And I think we're going to hand back over to Edith as she directs us towards a break.
Good. Thanks, Kirsten and Simon and Ursula for that session. There's always going to be more questions, because if we take our minds back to 2020, we had a pandemic and we went online and we didn't know what we were doing online, let's be honest.
Some of us did.
But sorry, some of us in this room did more than others, but we did it anyway. So my number one takeout from this session is be courageous and brave, because this is change. This is Rotary, and we are people of action. So never ever doubt what you can do, because all of us in this room and others are here to support one another. So that's my big takeout from today's session, because some of those acronyms are way over my head, and I just love knowing that we have people in this space that can be there to support us, and more importantly, to the transitioning of your club into a new comms e-commerce space. How exciting that is. We're going to go into a break, but before we do, can you put on your cameras, because I need to, one, have a photo that we were here on the 21st of May. This is for district and for RI. We have a poll going up that we know that you know exactly what to do, so start filling it in. And once that poll finishes, we're going to give everyone 35 seconds for that, because we're working talented. And then we're going to have the photo, and then you're going to have a 10-minute break. We're going to come back in a little bit later. Foundation, I know you're still on standby there, and I know that we are going to be working with Steve and Jenny after the break. So we've got 12. Can we have some more filling out that poll on the secretary? Have we got the ICT coming up as well, John? That's for the secretary and ICT, both together. Cool. 14. Let's go, Fano. Let's get that up. We've got 26 on the call. And we've got people driving. Look at this dedication. People driving in their cars, participating. What a fantastic platform for connection. Fantastic. Okay.
Great to see all those faces.
Yeah, isn't it? Great. End poll. Let's share. Okay, there we go. Secretary ICT. Give them a clap. Very informative and interactive. Well done, you guys. More content. There's always more to be learnt, isn't there? More time for breakout. Yes, we know that. We're going to do more of that in the next session. And other, I'm going to have a look at the chat, and it's ATER, John, that's a great, utter. So let's turn on our cameras. I'm going to stop that.
No, I've done that already.
Oh, he's done that already. Was I talking?
No.
Yes.
Yes, you were.
Yes. Okay, my mouth will be open in the photo again, but hey, that's quite normal. Go for a break. Have a cup of tea. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I won't have a lie down though, because I'm going to be back in 10 minutes, and that is going to be just after 2:15ish for everyone, 20, and we're back into foundation. See you then. I'm going to hand over to you, Kat. Can you hear
Hi,
me,
Edith,
Kat?
we're good to start?
We are good to start. Go, Kat, all the way from Panga Panga, American Samoa. Kia ora.
Well, greetings, Rotarians. My apologies first. I have to leave my camera off as I'm in an area that's got horrible internet. However, in this session, we will be presenting on the Rotary Foundation, which covers the Learning Center, global grants, and all the resources we can access to help with the new Rotary year up ahead. Presenting on the foundation today is immediate past District Governor Steve Cheney. Steve is our District 9920 Foundation Chair for 2022 to 2025. He was our area governor from 1996 to 1997, as well as 2020 to 2021, and was the club charter president for Manukau City Sunrise in 1998. Please join me in welcoming Steve Cheney for the foundation presentation.
Kia ora koutou katoa. He mihi mahana nei ki a koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ia tautoko ana ki te kaupapa or the Rotary Foundation. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome everyone. And it's my pleasure actually first up to introduce Jenny Herring. She's got a new title, EMGA, which is Endowment and Major Gift Advisor for Zone 8. So if you're familiar with regionalisation, Zone 8 is New Zealand, Australia, Timor-Leste, PNG, and all the Pacific Islands. And it involves 22 districts in our motu. So it's a big job, and it's a very important person, and she's obviously been interviewed and managed to pass the go. So I'd pass over to you, Jenny, EMGA for Zone 8.
Thank you, Steve, and it's a pleasure to be here today. The presentation I'm going to give you today is a little bit on my new position, the Rotary Foundation structure, how it sits and how it works at a club level, and what clubs can do to help the foundation do its job, which is very important because we need to raise the funds to be able to do the projects that we all like to do. So just a minute, I'll see if my technology is going to work. Am I sharing screen? Can you see that?
No.
Are you a co-host, Jenny, John?
She doesn't need to be.
Okay.
You should be able to see my screen then. Can you see it or not?
No,
Not
you're not
yet,
sharing.
Okay, let me do it another way then. Just a moment, please. I need to go to my share, I think, participants. No. Sorry, I haven't got anywhere to say that I can share screen. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Can you see it? Can you see it now?
Jenny. Yep.
All right, I'll just get it back to where it should be with my slideshow, so it's showing up properly. Okay, everyone see that now?
Yep, all good.
Sorry about that. I forgot I had to share the screen. I just went and brought it up. So this is me. I was appointed in December 2022, and I go to the end of June 2025. The previous lady, who was an Australian lady, just resigned after 3 months in the position. So I got appointed in December of 2022 and sort of thrown in the deep end. So just talk about the foundation. This is our mission. The Rotary Foundations help Rotary members to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace by improving health, providing quality education, improving the environment, and alleviating poverty. So that is the mission of the foundation, which you should all be very familiar with. So learning outcomes today, we're going to talk about donor engagement, the structure, giving today, the endowment, and giving recognition and resources. But this is, I might add, going to be a very, very quick overview, okay? So here's where it sits at the moment. You have the zone director, who is Jessie Harmon, and then you have the regional support staff, which is known affectionately as RISPO, and is in Sydney. Then you have your regional leaders, which you've no doubt heard of, our regional foundation coordinator, endowment and major gifts advisor, which is me, our End Polio coordinator, our RPIC, Rotary Public Image coordinator, and our Rotary coordinator. And underneath them sits the assistant regional coordinators, which relate to only 3 of those coordinators, and I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute. And then you have the Rotary Foundation district chairs, foundation public image, and membership chair. So that's where we all sit. So having a look at it more from a foundation point of view, this is the team for 23-24. So our Rotary Foundation coordinator is Peter Garnett from 9910. I am there from 20. Murray Verso is from, I think he's from Melbourne. And then we have the Rotary staff that assist us in everything we do. And some of them you'll be familiar with, like Mark Anderson, who's been across several times, and Rob Byrne, who are great help if you ever need anything. We have the assistant regional Rotary Foundation coordinators, and the ones you need to be looking at was actually Grant Spackman, who is the assistant coordinator for our district, and 10 and 30. Mark actually does 40 and 9999. So those are our resource people. If you have any issues, you can either go to Grant Spackman or Peter Garnett if you can't get hold of our beloved DRFC Steve. So the Rotary Foundation structure is, we have the district governor and the DRFC who actually work in tandem, okay? And then we have, on the left there, you'll see the mandatory chairs that the foundation must have, which is the grants chair, stewardship chair, polio chair, fundraising chair, and Peace Scholar chair. I think we've got 4 out of the 5. I'm not sure who our fundraising chair is. The grants chair is Richard Thorpe. Stewardship chair is PJ Dat. I am the polio chair currently, and our Peace Scholar is Shafali Mehta. On the other side of things, which are optional, is your Paul Harris Society chair, your endowment and major gifts chair, who this year is actually Steve's doing that role as well. The scholarships chair, the VTT chair, and the annual fund chair. So those are all optional roles. Products we sell. The annual fund, funding the projects and scholarships of the Rotary Foundation. The endowment fund, which is funding the World Fund to support DDF for global and district grants. The polio fund, which we're all very aware of and which we do very well in our district. And the disaster funds. So just a quick word on the disaster funds. Over the last 3 Rotary years, we've had 3 disaster grants given to us. First one was after a cyclone in Fiji, and that was given via the Suva Club to provide farm equipment for outlying Fiji areas. The next one was the Tongan volcano. We got a disaster fund grant for that, and that was provide the laptops. And then the recent one, of course, was the Auckland floods, where we got another 25,000 US for that. So we're doing quite well out of the foundation fund, and money can be paid directly into that. If that's something you want to do with your funds, you can pay it directly in that. So ways to give today and forever. So every Rotary every year, or Centurion, depending on the amount you want to give, that is in New Zealand dollars. So if you give $100 a year, and every member of your club gives $100 a year, you can become a Centurion club, and all your members can be Centurions and get a little pin to match as well. That is in New Zealand dollars. That's always local currency. So if you're in Fiji, that's in Fiji dollars. Okay, it's not in US dollars. Paul Harris Society, recurring given, target 100 per district. I think we've got about 20 people in that thing. They give $1,000 US every year to the foundation. Major gifts, of course, is 10,000 US per year, once over, sorry, not per year. And director gives us 15,000 and can be used for global grants as well. You have the benefactors and the bequest society. So I think benefactors are those that put in their will under $10,000 and bequest up over $10,000. And they're like in the major gifts, there are varying levels as well. And then over 25,000 can be a named endowment fund as well. I know this is very, very quick, but we can answer questions later, or you can contact us later if you need to ask any more questions on any of those specific things. So ways to give, showing it again in an easier format. Okay, so there they are, the varying levels. There's also the bequest level. So this is actually giving money now. Bequest is actually giving money after you've left the earth, moved on. So we move on to the endowment fund. There's a lot being said about the endowment fund and their goal. And their goal is to have $1 billion, $2.025 billion in the endowment fund by 2025. We're a bit short on that at the moment by about 500 million. But that is their goal by 2025. So that's just where they're at the moment with those two things. So I just put that slide in just so you could all see. just got to play a short video for you now that I think is rather pertinent to the endowment, and we'll just see how we go with that. Hopefully it'll work.
Check your sounds on, Jenny.
Sorry?
Check your 3 dots that the sound's on in the video.
What 3 dots there? Make sure I've got sound.
Yep.
Share sound.
Yes.
Right. Maybe I should go back to the beginning on that then. It hasn't. Can you see that? Oh, here we go. Can you hear that?
No.
Sorry, sound's on.
Did you share sound, Jenny?
Edith, do you know?
Yeah, we can't hear it, Jenny. So share sound, those 3 dots on your video.
Okay,
on your,
well, I can't do any more if the sound's not working. Is there anything more I need to do to get the sound up there, please, John?
Down the bottom where it says share screen and everything, across to the right, there'll be 3 dots. Click on there, and one of the options is share sound.
John?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you. We just can't hear the video.
There's the 3 dots.
No, it's not those 3 dots.
Sorry, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you speak. Or have you turned your own sound down now?
Just go on to the next slide, I think, Jenny. Or leave the video. Your sound may be off, Jenny. I think. You're on mute. Can you hear us, Jenny? Oh, there we go. You're back on.
I've only just managed to get you back on. I don't know what's happened to my sound. When I put shared sound, I lost everything.
Okay, then. Let's just go. Maybe can you go on to the next slide?
Let me have a look.
Right, yeah, go down to 13 rather than the video.
I can run the video if you like.
Yeah, you do that, John.
It's only a minute. If you could, John, please.
Now, what can you see?
Oh, that's an interesting picture.
Yes, it's got the picture of everyone on top of it. Sorry, I just got to change my aspect. There you go. Is that working?
Yes,
You're a Leewood. You know what that means?
We work hard and we give back.
You know, someday this apple tree will be bigger than I am. We're leaving the future behind today.
Can anyone else see the screen?
No, just got a castle.
Right, we've just got the sound, John. Just got your
Can't see the
background at the
video.
moment.
Just one moment then.
That's this lovely canal view and a very flat plateau at the back. Clearly one of your holiday snaps.
Clearly one of my holiday snaps. Just let me start again.
So which room did you get?
Well, you didn't stay there. That was just on the banks of the Thames. Anyway, it says I'm screen sharing. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
Let me share the proper screen, which is screen number 3, but didn't come up before. Shall I start again?
That would be fabulous. Fabulous. There you go.
Wait a minute. We're halfway through now.
No,
Go back.
Giving to Rotary.
I would if this thing would do what it was told.
Don't we love technology, whānau?
Reason
I I have to say my video worked every time I tried it in practice.
Good for you. This is I'm running 4 screens here, and I've got different things on each screen, and I hadn't prepared to run a video, so I would have done it slightly differently. Let's try this now.
You're doing a great job, John.
We're getting
Thank
there.
you, John.
You can still see the screens, can't you?
Yes, we can. It's fantastic.
Good. In case you forgot the presentation.
Here we go.
Now here we go.
And sound.
You're a Leewood.
Sorry, the sound's there, right?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Oh, good. I thought you were telling me there's
We
no sound.
work hard and we give back.
You know, someday this apple tree will be bigger than I am. We're leaving the future behind today. You'll see.
Giving to Rotary's endowment ensures life-changing programs will benefit generations to come. Your legacy is Rotary's promise.
So I need to go back to sharing my screen again.
You do. I'll stop now.
Okay. I think it's that one. Is that mine?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Oh, then it started to work. Interesting.
It did. With sound.
Yeah, with sound. Never mind. Okay. So what every club can do to support the endowment: ask the district endowment and major gift chair, who is Steve, to present to the club as a guest speaker. Contribute to the endowment in addition to annual fund and polio. Now, when you contribute to the endowment fund, the capital is never touched and the money invested comes back to the clubs or the district. Okay, so that's a slight difference. So somebody who has given $25,000 as a gift to endowment, after 10 years, it is worth $38,000 and is generating $1,000 a year, which is coming back to the district. Okay, appoint a benefactor chair to the foundation committee, and use the column advertisement in the club's weekly bulletin to promote bequests. So I'm getting this done as a PNG document that can go in like our district newsletter and other newsletters as people wish. I'm just having a bit of difficulty getting that sent back to me from RI. So look, watch the space, that will turn up soon. So we have a lot of fundraising and supporting today's programs. And as you know, we do all these things. Varying clubs do different things. Most support the polio with our chair and the Centurion chair as well. So we must celebrate Rotary's birthday on the 23rd, which is of February. 24th is World Polio Day, which we normally do with our polio all transit event. And of course, it is always good for the clubs to invite 2 foundation people to their club to speak during the year. So this just doesn't have to be the chair. This could be the grants chair. It could be the polio chair. It could be the Peace Scholars chair. It can be any of the any 2. Okay. So one thing we are doing is on the 4th of November, Barry Rassin is coming to Auckland for a foundation dinner, of which all those people who have donated to the foundation, either by major giving or by bequest in the last year, will be recognised at this dinner. So this is just a heads up to save the day. If you want to know more about giving to the foundation or making a bequest, please just give me a call. I think most of you online here know who I am and how to get hold of me. But if you don't, just contact Steve, because most of you know Steve anyway, and he will forward your name and number to me. So that's basically all I've got to present on at the moment. Thank you.
Thanks very
Thank you,
much, Jenny. Thanks, DG's immediate passes to Governor Steve. I can't see Kat. Over to you.
Yeah, Kat has left the building. I think it's your turn, Steve.
Yeah, I'm just going to share screen. Can everyone see my presentation?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Jenny for her presentation. It was really informative and it's great. What I've learned, we've just gone through 3 years of COVID, and what we're seeing is in our district we've got 56 clubs, and we've only got 12 clubs that have a club chair and are certified and have signed the memorandum of understanding. And I was talking to Delia before from Savu, and Savu is the only Pacific Island club that is certified and has an MOU. So in terms of Rotary, impact, reach, engage, and adapt are still the key things. And the mission is still the same for Rotary. And what I've learned is Rotary International and the foundation are actually separate identities. And the reason is the foundation is a charitable foundation and there's legal requirements to meet. And what I'm seeing is every year there's more processes that come in that get tightened. So it's really important that we support the foundation. We do good in the world. And the question that I'm asking the clubs that are here, is the foundation your point of difference and your charity of choice for your club? Because it's really important that we are having donations. In terms of the performance of the foundation, it's got 4 stars as a foundation out of 5. And 91% of the funds that come in are spent on program awards. So what's it about? What's the objectives of the foundation? It's to keep the administration costs as low as possible, running at about 9%, mainly because so many Rotarian volunteers are used in the delivery of grants within the foundation. It's really important that clubs are doing a community assessment. Now within the Council of Legislation, a club can decide what it's going to specialise in. You don't have to do the full spectrum. So it's really important that a club is assessing where they are and what they're going to tackle. Projects for grants have to be sustainable. You have to demonstrate that you're going to use Rotarians and they're engaged. And the World Fund match from the endowment is DDF. And then the stewardship requirements, which is what I'm finding is as time goes along, there's more requirements for reporting to Rotary Foundation, and bank statements and things like that. Data that's really important to a foundation needs to be shared with the foundation, and they put time constraints. Just looking at the New Zealand districts, this is 2021-22. 9910 raised 122,000. We raised 160,000, and that determines how much DDF we get in 3 years' time. So about a third of that, so about between 40 and 50,000 New Zealand dollars we'll get. And it's really important that clubs are making sure that they're donating to the foundation. So the giving, and this is for New Zealand only, the blue is clubs and the orange, my colourblind eyes, is what individuals give. And you can see there has been a trend down, which then has an impact on how much DDF and district grants that we get. So the money that's coming in is from Rotarians, from clubs, from private individuals, and from corporate. So in terms of the annual fund, what's fundraised in a year, in 3 years' time, that's what you get as DDF. So again, in terms of your community assessment as a club, what are the areas that you're going to support within the foundation? Peace, disease, water and sanitation, maternal child health, economic development, the environment. It's really important that you decide, because you can't do everything. I won't go to the fifth fund because it's for Australia only. But in terms of funding, we've got the annual fund, the endowment fund, Polio Plus, and the disaster response. And just having those 3 grants in the last 3 years has just been amazing in terms of what we've been able to do in our district. So global grants, they need to have a budget of at least 30,000 US, must align with more than one area of focus, address a community need, include community and Rotarian participation, strengthen capacity, have long-term sustainable benefits, have measurable results, and we must partner with another club in another country. Now, in terms of 9920, within Zone 8, we have most of the Pacific Islands in our district. So if an Australian district wants to do a global grant, they'll generally come to us. So I think the numbers were 54 global grants within Zone 8, and over 30 of them are being administered by our district because they are for Tonga, for Fiji, for Samoa, for American Samoa. So Kat, in terms of American Samoa, it's who you find as a partner. District grants, that comes out of the endowment. This year we had $48,000, 24,000 we gave as DDF, and the other 24,000 we've got for district grants, which are about small grants for local needs. I'll just skip these slides, a couple of slides, because Jenny's actually covered them. So again, the Rotary Action Plan: impact, reach, engage, and adapt. They're the 4 pillars of Rotary International. That's what we need to be working towards. And the biggest thing that we've found with doing surveys within our club, Rotarians and club members are really interested in doing projects. So it's a matter of doing your community assessment and then deciding what projects you're going to undertake. So for the breakout, there's some questions that I wanted answered. Has your club appointed a Rotary Foundation chair? Is your club Rotary Foundation chair certified, which is a training course in the Learning Centre on rotary.org? Has your board approved the district memorandum of understanding? And just a question in terms of the foundation, is your club got a budget for annual giving this year? And as Jenny said, what the objective is $100 per member. And what is your club budget for End Polio Now? And has your club performed a community assessment? So I'm leaving those 6 questions for the breakouts. And hopefully I've been quick. And you can break us into the groups.
Thanks, Steve. If you want to just stop sharing, that'd be great.
we've had a few people less in this session than we had in the previous one, so I've got 3 breakout rooms now.
Okay, I'm looking at our time, it's 2:55. And I'm just wondering, we've got people sitting in this room now. Is there any questions? I think I'd like to open it up to the floor rather than John go into a breakout, because we've also lost Kat with internet issues. Anything burning around the Rotary Foundation? The number one takeout when I was learning more about the foundation is that it is separate to Rotary. It is the charity of choice called the Rotary Foundation. And that was my aha moment, I suppose, as part of my learning. So anyone in the room, Jackie, I know you've shared some great examples around where the global grants and the foundation has had considerable impact with Give Every Child a Future. Any questions from anyone that's here? I'm looking at you, John, Vinod, Nikita, Delia, James. Questions around the foundation? Comments around the foundation?
The presentation that Steve just gave, do you have a summary of it somewhere? Or
Yeah,
I mean, if I wanted to give it to the club, yeah.
I can send it to you, Delia.
Thank you, that's great. So I mean, then if I wanted to discuss it with the club, that makes it a lot easier.
Thanks, Delia, that's a great idea. I think we've got it from James, probably a club presentation, James, that can also be done. If you have in person as well as online, give Foundation Chair Steve and Jenny would be most willing to come to a meeting that is focused on the foundation and your questions, your burning questions, if they can be sent prior. And also we'll send those questions out to the participants that are currently sitting in this room that you might want to share with your board, because I think they're really important questions to add around your club giving. And again, when Kirsten started this session today, she went into Club Runner and went into the different parts of Club Runner that have got useful pieces of information. What is your current annual giving to the foundation and in what areas? So a great tool to start using. Any other questions or comments?
Edith.
Yes, Vidya.
I think the questions that Steve has put through for the clubs, just that segment, I think should be shared with all the club presidents. So it sort of shows what level they have done, what they haven't done, and they could take action, because I think that's very simple, straightforward questions. And when you send those questions to the club, they will definitely take action. But if you have too much write-up, then it sort of goes in everywhere. So I think it would be a good idea if Steve's questions per club should be sent to the club presidents to follow up.
Happy to do that as part of the thank you email that'll go out to clubs this week. Thanking people, and I'll add that and to our area governors, because they're the ones that are working closest with our clubs at the moment. And as people have seen off Club Runner, some of your information is not up to date. So when it goes out to everybody, whānau, that's why. Kia ora. Any other questions or partai as we come into 2:59? Well, look, on behalf of the LED committee, I'd like to thank Jenny and Steve for your presentation on the Rotary Foundation, which is different to Rotary in its context and setting. And any other questions, please make sure that you get in touch with Jenny and Steve as you're planning into 2023-24 year, and get them to get to your clubs prior to your changeovers, and work with your board. It's probably the best way to go from here. So on that note, it's 2:59. I'm going to let you have a break for 10 minutes, after you finish the foundation poll. So go for it. We're now going down to 19 on this call. Okay, sharing results. Sorry, there we go. Thank you, Jenny and Steve. Very informative and interactive, and more content. Absolutely. We will make sure there's more content out there. Please get in touch with these two people. Thank you very much. Have a break, whānau. It's 3 o'clock. We're coming back at 3:05 on the dot. Just saying. And it gives me great pleasure to open our next session, Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, a space close to my heart. And welcome into the space Tanya Thomas, who is past president of the Otahuhu Rotary Club and is the DEI chair for 22-23. I'm passing this over to you, Tanya. Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa I tēnei ahi. A tēnā koe ko Edith Raua ko John. Ko Tania tōku ingoa, ko Ngāti Kahu te iwi. Kia ora everybody, I'm Tania and I'm from Ngāti Kahu. Can you actually see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Is it okay?
We just need you to take it up to PowerPoint, so either top or bottom. Yeah, screen, full screen.
Play the slideshow, yeah.
Yeah, trying to get it to come up.
Or down the bottom, whichever's easiest. Oh, that's it. Go for it.
Yeah, is it gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, click it.
No, click it.
No. How annoying. There we are.
That's it.
Woohoo!
I'm going to start off with a little story about myself. Okay. I joined the Otahu Rotary Club several years ago. I was the only Māori. I was pleased that there were quite a few females in the club. I was one of the younger ones, and I wasn't a Christian, and I am not a Christian. And those are the things that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I first started at the club. A few comments were made when I first joined, such as, "You don't look very Māori." And this is before I had my moko kauai, before I had my chin tattoo. And I was asked several times whether I was a full Māori or not. I was, things were said like, when I said I worked for a Māori trust, oh dear, we know what happens to Māori trusts. I remember thinking, oh, I don't think I'm going to be very comfortable here. And then the more that I turned up and the more that I thought, no, this is worth it. I'm in a community that is full of Māori, full of Pacific Islands peoples, and this Rotary Club does not reflect the community that the club is in. It did in the past, but it doesn't now. So I felt it was important that I stayed. And so as time went on, I would say kia ora to everybody instead of hello. I got to do the blessing once or twice, and I gave a blessing, which was not a Christian one. And then a few people started saying kia ora back to me. And then one of the club members did a karakia in Māori. Then I found out that something like, I don't know, half a dozen people in the club had Māori grandchildren. And then I found out that one of the people in the club was learning te reo Māori, and he was working with a Māori community up north on a hakapapa book. And so the more we got to know each other, the less important those differences seemed. And we started to give and take and learn and share from each other, to the point now that I'm asked how my mokos are, how my grandchildren are in Māori, and I feel completely accepted and included in my club. I didn't feel like that first off, but you've got to spend time with people, getting to know each other. And I think that that's what Rotary is all about. Rotary is about getting to know each other so that you can learn from each other and find out what you have in common. So I thought, you know, that's something about where I started off. I'm not going to go into big detail around what is diversity, what is equity, and what is inclusion. I think people know what that is, and you can look it up. Okay, so there are, and you'll have this presentation to refer to. I think the important thing is that Rotary International recognised after a big survey they did that clubs around the world felt that there was a need to increase the diversity and equity and inclusion of people in their communities. And they set up a DEI code of conduct. They have developed a huge array of resources for clubs around the world. They also have some great discussion groups. There's several of those, and I'll give you those contacts. I think this one is the important one because when it comes to talking about the foundation, the work that we do, people get equality and equity confused. And I think that picture really shows well the difference between equality and equity so that everyone can participate, be included in their communities. The other thing that I think is a good picture here is it's fantastic to have all sorts of different people from all sorts of different backgrounds and experiences and ages and ethnicities. But if they all just keep separate and you have a whole lot of individuals in your club or in your district, and you're not actually all working together and mixing together like the jigsaw puzzle shows, you're not really including people. It's the same as the idea of you can be invited to the dance, but if you don't get invited to dance at the dance, that's not inclusion. Okay. I think we've got to take DEI seriously because when I look at these stats, these are the latest stats that I have. 25% of Rotary members are women. 51% of Rotaract members are women. Now, if we carry on in the current trend that we're going, it'll take us to 2050 before there'll be gender parity in Rotary. We need to copy whatever Rotaract are doing. They're already there. And I also know that when we're talking about gender parity, we're just talking about two genders here, male and female. And as you know, that's not the case anymore. We don't talk only about male and female. There are lots and lots of different types of genders. So we're already behind the 8 ball, just talking about women and men, okay? If you look at the average age of Rotary members, 61, and the average age of Rotaract members is 25. The majority of Rotary and Rotaract members are introduced to their clubs by a friend or a colleague. And so you're likely to get the same people coming in. So, you know, that to me is something we have to look at. How do we close this gap of parity with genders? So the questions I have are, how can we be more inclusive and welcome members of different generations and experiences? And how likely are you to check out RI's DEI resources? There are so many resources there, but the more and more I talk to different groups, and I've been invited to a couple of clubs to talk to them about it, it's almost as if it's, I don't know, too hard. But I'm saying if we want Rotary to thrive, if we want to be relevant, if we want to get ready for the next generation of Rotarians, we have to do more about getting diverse and being more inclusive of different communities. So those are the questions, and here's a list of the resources that you can easily access. So the only other thing that I have to update you on is the work of the committee. There are 8 committee members. We haven't been able to achieve much actually, and it's something that to me, I've talked with Edith, who I find a great mentor to me, around how we might be able to do things differently, because it almost seems like it's too hard. And when you're dealing with things like how uncomfortable racism or sexism or any of the isms make people feel, it's kind of a tough road, but it happens, and it happens in every club. So we have to probably start off in a more gentle way. So our committee has decided that the way forward is to celebrate different national days. So if it's Pride Week, what could we do as a club? If it's Diwali, who could we join with to make our celebration better? If it's Matariki, Māori New Year, who could we celebrate with and include? And that might be a more, I suppose, friendly and easier way to go about introducing a DEI focus in our clubs. So our committee's open to suggestions, and we're also open to anyone else who would like to join us and help us on this path. So I don't have anything else. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thanks very much, Tanya. Any questions from the floor? Loving the heart, Jackie, loving the heart.
I guess I was just going to say I'm encouraged by your work, and yes, we do have a long way to go, but having these discussions and the focus is really, really important, how we bring it together. So it's very encouraging, and Tanya, what I can do to support you, I'd welcome that.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. Much appreciated.
Yeah, I think the key takeout, Tanya, I have from your part of the session is I love the story, and that we all have our own individual stories that are really powerful. And it is sometimes that courageousness to tell your story that actually enables others to come into the space. And that would probably be my biggest takeout from not only this session, but from life. And also the opportunity going forward to collaborate with other clubs and members in our district, that we can celebrate the inclusiveness and to learn more about who we are, not only in Rotary, but as a country, and our gifts and talents to the world. So step up and be courageous, whānau. Thank you, Tanya. As always, a pleasure to have you in the space and to share your knowledge. And we look forward to doing things differently in 2023-24, because we have to. All of us, we have to do that. So I'd now like to, we're going to do the, John, we're going to do the poll at the end.
Yes, the poll comes after Stephen.
Okay, Stephen. I'd like to introduce Stephen Lyons as co-chair with David Bradshaw as the District 992 Environment Committee to the space. Kia ora. Stephen, I'm not sure where you are. You were in Rarotonga last time. Actually, you were in the Manukau City Sunrise Club last time talking with the Prime Minister of Tonga. Was the last time I saw you. So great to have you in the space, and we're really looking forward to what's been happening in the environment space in your committee. Ka nui te mihi kia koe.
Kia ora, kia ora. Good to see everybody this afternoon. How do I share my screen? Just go ahead and here we go. This one. Let me just get the slideshow up and running. Okay. All right. Thanks for everybody that's taking the time today to be part of this LEDS program. And it's a shame we couldn't all be in person, but here we are. I'm in Auckland at the moment, so it's not the sunny Rarotonga that I'm used to, but it's nice to be closer to everybody in the Rotary family. I'm just going to talk today about our 7th cause, protecting the environment. My name is Stephen Lyon, and I'm the co-chair of the District 9920 Environment Committee. I chair the committee alongside David Bradshaw, and our members are Summer, Elise, Gary, and Alex. And together we've been working on a few things to help progress the environment pillar within our district. So what are we doing? As a committee, we've taken a few steps to understand what we're doing as a district, but what I'm just going to go through now, I guess, is an introduction. Our intent is to increase the awareness of the environment as an area of focus for our clubs in our district. We've gone ahead and surveyed the clubs in the district to see what we're doing around our district. We have, off the back of that meeting at the Manukau Sunrise Club, been engaging with Tonga over a project to assist them in recycling plastics, which were indicated to be an issue for them. We have been involved with the promotion of, or continued work and promotion of, trees and plants for planting and restoration of ecological areas. We want to help share information and links across clubs, and of course we want to help clubs to find speakers with an environmental interest. So these are the things that we're looking at working on. But I've got a question for everyone here first of all, and if you could just go ahead and put your hands up or indicate with the hand up icon, who's been involved in an environmental project through their club already?
Can't see.
Yeah. So I would say, I can't see everybody. Yep, there we go. I've got a few people putting their hands up. So Rotary is actually already engaged in environmental projects, and that's no surprise because in New Zealand in particular, we've got a very strong focus on environmental issues. And so Rotary, through our network of other community-based organizations, has been involved in environmental projects for some time, both at the sort of informal club level and also at a broader regional and national engagement level with groups like Trees for Survival. What we hope to do is link and strengthen these initiatives across our district. So from the survey that we ran, we had 29 clubs respond. Most clubs are involved in assisting other organizations' environmental projects. For example, assisting Trees for Survival in running the nurseries within schools, and running some of the planting activities as well. Other clubs have been involved with rubbish cleanups and stream cleanups. Some clubs have been involved with plant nurseries outside of the Trees for Survival program, and we've had 1 or 2 clubs involved in recycling projects. And this is clubs from New Zealand and our Pacific family as well. All respondents would like to have more environmental speakers within their clubs. And most clubs, not all, but most clubs would like to work on collaborative projects with other clubs in our district. So what we've taken away from that is that we're developing a list of speakers to engage with clubs. We intend to network clubs together that are interested in working together on certain activities and help clubs learn from each other. One of the things that has become evident is that because clubs tend to work assisting community organizations, there aren't a lot of formal environmental projects sitting within Rotary clubs themselves. So that is something that we need to look at, either finding Rotary clubs to develop and lead environmental projects, or bringing a few clubs together to develop environmental projects within the clubs. The Tonga Plastic Waste Project. So the history of this comes from that breakfast meeting at Manukau Sunrise, and the Prime Minister of Tonga stated that in the aftermath of the 2022 volcanic eruption, many thousands of bottles of water were sent to the island, and this was necessary because they had problems with drinking water contamination from the ash fallout, and the drinking water was considered a real problem. However, after these many thousands of bottles arrived, they were used and there was no waste management program for them, so they became quite a burden. He asked for help in how this might be managed, and the District Environment Committee set about a process to develop a regional project aimed at this. This has been an ongoing and ever-evolving process because the needs are changing and the intent of how it's resolved has been changing as well, because not only are we an actor in this, the EU are assisting Tonga with waste management, and New Zealand as well. New Zealand government are also involved in assisting Tonga with their waste management development. At this stage, Tonga has realized that they are unable to export the plastic. However, very recently, an arrangement with Swire Shipping has been made in the regional space, where Swire Shipping will back ship recycling material to New Zealand free of charge. So this is something we're just talking to them about at the moment. But in the vacuum of this shipping option, Tonga had started recycling the plastic waste themselves by shredding it up and using it as aggregate within some of their building and roading material. And they have a longer term view of managing all their waste in Tonga using a waste to energy incineration plant. So they hope to move from being an exporter or an accumulator of waste to recycling waste in a waste to energy methodology. So understanding where they want to go with that, we are the area that they've asked for the most sort of aimed assistance or targeted assistance from us for what we could probably offer will be the provision of a truck to help them collect the plastic waste, so a dedicated vehicle for collecting plastic waste. And we're working through a process to identify if that is a sustainable type of project, if Tonga has the capability to maintain and manage such an asset, and if it is indeed something worth working towards, or if there is some other technical assistance or assistance that we could offer. So this is still a work in progress, but it has been a very interesting project, and it's one that is moving forward and developing all the time. Other activities that we're involved in, we have Gary from Trees for Survival on our committee, and he is active in helping clubs link up with Trees for Survival projects across schools in the Auckland region and further afield, and keeping that project alive. And it's a very good long-standing project that Rotary has a long-term link with. So Trees for Survival is still active. We're also assisting in the distribution of trees donated by Westfield Newmarket. They are replacing all of the green all the trees and the living material within the mall at Westfield Newmarket, and they've got thousands of trees that need to be planted out. So we are assisting with the sort of redistribution of that amongst clubs for planting. We're also working on a newsletter process to help promote environmental activities across clubs and get clubs linked together. And we're developing a list of environmental speakers that would have an interest in engaging with Rotary clubs, so that we can then send this out to clubs and start to book in more engagement on environmental issues with our clubs in the district. Right, are there any questions or comments of me? In fact, I understand there is a questions section coming up next. That rounds out my presentation. I thank you very much for your attention, and I'll answer any questions when that session comes. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. I was wondering if you could stop share. Thank you. And if we could see yourself on the camera. Yeah, we sort of missed your wonderful faces that was being discussed through there. In the, I suppose, the opportunity to go into breakout groups, now, how many are, we are 17 participants. We are the hard and fast Rotarians of District 9920. And I'd just like to have a plug at the moment for you to get back out to your clubs, in your clusters and in other ways, to say this is a great space to be in. We know it's a Sunday. We know that we have busy lives, but it's really nice that if it's not for district officers or club leaders that are coming to this, then anyone from your club is in our inclusive space welcome to learn more about what's happening across the district. Because I'd just like to say what happens behind the scenes from these presentations, from these people, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. It doesn't give justice to what's actually presented in front of us. And remember, we are all volunteers. So this is our and aspects of our lives. And it's all about giving and doing good in the world. So on that note, I am going to send you back out to breakouts. We'll make it, is 10 minutes too long, Whānau? And Stephen, you're going to be in a breakout and I'm going into a breakout as
better
well.
put Stephen in a breakout then.
Stephen, a breakout. Yes.
Edith,
yes, Celia.
Edith, one quick question.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask, can I ask Stephen a couple of questions about the Tonga project, or do you want me to do that separately?
No, go ask away, because we're probably all interested. Delia?
Stephen, how much government involvement did you need to get that project going?
We're working with the Tonga Waste Authority, and that's the organisation that the Prime Minister delegated to work with us through. So the process, if you mean government involvement, do you mean Tongan government involvement or New Zealand government involvement?
Tongan government involvement.
Right, okay, yeah, so we're working directly now with the CEO of the Tonga Waste Authority, and the process was that we reached out to the Chief of Staff of the Prime Minister's office, you know, at the Prime Minister's request, and then he put us in touch with these people. So that's been the pathway to identifying who to work with. And they are most likely, well, they manage this process in country on behalf of the government. So that's the organisation within Tonga that we're working with. However, of course, we've also reached out through the Rotary network in Tonga, and have had mixed feedback back about the capability of the Tonga Waste Authority to manage an asset in the medium term. So we are doing some due diligence on that and finding out exactly what their capabilities are and what their real needs are. But like I said, it is shifting a little bit because it's a place where there seem to be a lot of players interested in having some impact.
Okay, thanks.
Could I ask a question too? Stephen, our club has been involved in tree planting, but recently, I think on the 26th, we're having a Environment Day celebration at our club. And we were looking for speakers. I think we found somebody at the council. But do you have a list of speakers that people can access, or are you going to be around on 26 to join them?
Yeah, sure. Is it a physical meeting?
Yes, physical meeting at the Mount Eden Bistro. So I think
I've received a notice for that, and I tentatively plan to come along. We are developing a list of speakers. Yes, it's been a little bit, it's been interesting. You know, I'm used to working in the Pacific where it's quite informal and people just give their time. But a lot of the speakers we've contacted have said, well, you know, we'd like a speaking fee or something like that. So I'm really trying to find people that will be interested to promote their work or their research. So that's taken a little bit longer to dig into those networks and find the right sort of people. But that is our intent, to develop a list of speakers that want to engage with Rotary and get word of their project out, and potentially build a relationship with a club or clubs that might be able to offer them some support.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to breakout groups, because I've got a lot to share around speakers that we've had at our local club. So I'm loving to share that with the others. Cool.
Excellent. Can everybody remember the two questions that Tania wanted you to talk about?
Tanya, maybe a recap.
You're muted.
Yeah, what will you make use of the DEI-RI resources, and how can we do a better job in closing the gap in terms of the lack of diversity in our clubs?
Okay, now that fresh in your mind, I'll send everyone to breakouts. And pause recording.
Good, everyone. Well, I'm hoping you had the great discussions that we had in our group with Evelyn. And perhaps we'd like to start with your group, DG NVIDIA. What were your key takeouts, or you'd like to share with us from your group? You're on mute. And I haven't got a Kit Kat to give you. You're on mute.
Yeah, we're lucky to have Stephen in our group, so he took a lot of notes. Stephen, would you like to share those?
Certainly, yeah, no problem. Within our district, we've got a couple of clubs that have got very good processes in place for running things like cleanups and other events, and it really needs to be. We need to develop a mechanism for some of the logistics that run those sort of events to be spread across the other clubs, because I think there's a lot of intent of doing stuff, but things like liaising with council, liaising with the companies that will pick up the trash that you collect, and those sort of things is the logistics that sit behind these events that can be a little bit more difficult if you're not familiar with those people that do that. So a club in particular in our district, St. John's, and a club in 9910 East Coast Bays, both have run significant cleanup events where they do that logistical preparation. So learning from them and providing a toolkit to other clubs to be able to use will be very helpful. We have a call to develop a resource kit so that there are resources on environmental issues that clubs can pull from to help highlight environmental issues. And I think that's a very good suggestion. And my thought on that is that we develop that from speakers that we engage with, making sure that we collect their presentations and record their presentations so that we can use their resources in developing our own resource kits. And then we know they have context and relevance to our region. There are clubs in Auckland, such as Auckland Downtown, that do active tree planting, and tree planting is quite a common one because it's logistically arranged by other groups, and we provide the volunteers and the manpower, and we head out there and conduct the activity, and that's quite a common one. One of the comments about the environment, and I thought this is a really astute observation, is that within Rotary there's only a few physical things we really do. We sort of go to fundraisers and run sausage sizzles and other bits and pieces, but environment is where we can actually get out and do things physically together. It's not just a meeting in a room somewhere. So that does offer some attraction and a point of difference for running environmental type projects across clubs that might help to attract people in. And of course, having that diversity of activity can also help to attract new members. Cleanups and in particular, but also tree planting and other things can be very, very visible, and they can pull people in the community in, and those people may actually become interested in Rotary. And we heard one anecdotal story about where one cleanup attracted a couple of new members. So it's very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks, Phineas Group. Jointe, your group.
Oh, we just had discussions with lucky Tanya was with us, so we just had a bit of discussion, especially on DEI, and we talked about what really was happened at St. John's and how St. John's Club, and how we all clubs can learn from that. So that was our main discussion. Anyone wants to add anything? Ashwini was there as well, and
I think Jyoti and Ashwani are here. They're all from our club. Our club started off with a very diverse group of people. We have 1/3 Indians, 1/3 Chinese, 1/3 Europeans, but they came from different parts of the world, like South Africa, Taiwan, China, and all other countries. So, like Tanya said, it's good to celebrate that life. And we still celebrate Indian New Year, Chinese New Year, International Night. We used to have Baha'i night. We used to have a Maori guy who died, a very nice person. So, we try to encourage. We had a Korean person who has migrated, Japanese who migrated. So, yeah, I think we learn a lot from each other, and we begin to respect each other's culture. And that also helps attract members.
It has. There you go. Vidya summed it up. Thank you, DJN.
yeah, totally agree.
Kia ora. I just wanted to add one more thing when we talked about environment. And I think we all said in our group, Stephen, that, we thought you'd achieved an awful lot. And there was obviously things that we could be learning from you to do more.
Honestly, it feels like our wheels are spinning a bit. We've got an excellent committee, but they're very, very busy. And we all are, as you know, everyone's busy. And we feel like we've under-delivered for our our region, but we are committed to getting the work program done that we've started, which for me involves the Tonga project and making sure that we have that list of speakers available so clubs can really start to engage on these issues. But thank you for that comment.
I think
Steve, anyone from your group? Steve Cheney. Are you on mute?
That was video.
Oh, video, okay. Evelyn, did you want to give a synopsis for our group, please?
I would leave it to Jackie. Jackie would like to talk about it.
Nice pass.
Jackie. She's here.
Yeah, I just think it's just kind of picking up on what everybody else is saying and how we balance out when we talk about membership. Steve and I have a real passion for the environment, and our club has been involved in Trees for Survival for many years, but also my family has done our share as far as being Rotarians, as far as planting at our farm. But I think the wider as far as representing the breakout session is how we balance the diversity in the clubs, as far as not talking about old members and new members or age wise. It's more experience and how we bring that out, and respecting the experience that they have at the club, but also providing new membership to fulfill their passion, and recognizing we just have to do things differently, and that's difficult for some of our experienced membership, but we have to recognize that's what we need going forward. It's not just Rotary, it's all volunteer organizations, and how we all work together to achieve those goals to keep us moving forward. So it's an opportunity. I'm going to keep telling that it's going to be an opportunity, not a challenge. So I have in my own family, for Edith and Steve and some others know that my father-in-law is a long-term member of Rotary Club of Auckland. So I always have his ear and his insights, but I also have the membership of coming forward. And my daughter always reminds me, was Granddad at your meeting today? So I keep those balances as far as what we need. So I think we need to kind of cherish that experience, but embrace that we just need to do things differently. So I welcome any opportunities to how we keep going forward. So that's our group.
Thanks, Jackie. I think on that wonderful note, we could throw out that poll, John Fothergill, and let's go for it. There's 17 people in the room.
Can I just have one comment on the diversity and inclusion?
Yeah,
point?
absolutely.
We've got a very diverse club, and one thing that I've found has helped our club. I mean, it's a small community in the Cook Islands, right? So everyone is very accepting of everyone else generally, but we've run some fundraisers to assist our rainbow community lobby for legislative change with regards to the decriminalisation of homosexuality. And last year, our golf tournament, which is our major fundraiser, donated the funds to the local association that was lobbying for that, which was just successful, by the way. We had a law change recently, so very good. But I think that's one really good way to engage, to help people become aware of Rotary, because from the outside, Rotary can look like a bit of an old man's club. But if we reach out as clubs and to these organizations and communities and offer to help raise funds for them and do things with them, then that can help build inclusion, and it certainly did for our club.
Thanks for that, Stephen. Great reminder around that. We've got 10 of the 17 that have, let's have a look and share poll. There you go. DEI and environment, well done. 90% interactive and informative. So well done. So on behalf of the LEDS committee, I would like to once again thank Tanya, yourself and Steve for all the work that's done in the background, and for all the work that is going to continue to be done. Because remember, this is the journey, whānau, it's not the destination. And to be frank, it takes us a year or so just to, to learn what's what and what's not. And for some of us, that's longer than others. So just thank you for the work that you do. And we look forward to greater collaborations around environment projects, fundraisers that we can do more on a cluster or district level, and just to keep in touch. And Tanya and Stephen, I know, are available as one of your guest speakers. Line them up if you're doing, I think a couple of people are going to less meetings. Auckland East are here, going to less meetings a month. So if that's in person and online, book them in for 2023-24. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. So on that note, we've had the polls. We're going to go to a shorter break. How's 5 minutes going to do? And I'd love everyone to come back in the room. Otherwise, it'd just be John and myself, and probably immediate past District Governor Steve and DG Ian Vidia. But I'd love you all to come back for our final session, because we have a public image video that Sarita McLean has kindly done, especially for this afternoon in the absence of Charles Miller, who is travelling overseas. And we, of course, have membership with Ashwini. So that's a really nice segue and link to all the conversations that we've been having this afternoon. So grab a cup of tea, whare paku stop, and we'll see you right back here in 5 minutes' time. Kia ora. Thank you, John. Okay, final session of the afternoon. We're going to start with membership, and then we're going to show the video the video from Sarita on public image. And it sort of goes hand in hand, the public image kaupapa, with our ICT that you saw with Kirsten and Simon at the beginning of our presentations today. So, have a think about that, what that might look like, could look like, should look like for your club in regards to that public image space. So yeah, just have some of those questions in your mind as you come up. Okay, we've got something in the chat. I see that's come from Evelyn around the invitation for next Friday's event. Thank you, Evelyn. And also, that's really great that that's the flyer that's gone out, and the invite, I can't read it, but you can take a copy and open that up. So that's for next Friday. So thanks very much, Evelyn. Can always rely on you. So without any further ado, I'd like to get this final part of our LEDS 2023 underway. I invite Ashwini Saidu, Area Governor 2021-22, Membership Chair 22-23, and past President of the Rotary Club of Harbourside. Welcome to the space, Ashwini. Membership, off we go.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Edith, and everyone on this this afternoon. So that's great. I don't have a presentation, but anyway, apart from it getting all lost in that, it was particularly geared towards area governors and the presidents coming in, because the aim for next year, and it should always be for Rotary, is that we aim to grow our membership and new clubs, and so to build Rotary awareness, using the various tools we have to that. So I have actually, so I'm just going to go through some information that I have got here, that we are going to use the area governors a lot more, and some of you have actually attended a workshop that I recently did in April, and that was there. We talked a lot on cluster clubs, and it was very great of Jyoti to do a presentation, which she has actually this year, Rotary year, very successfully led clubs and doing this cluster. And there's a lot that comes out of the benefits that happen when you have clusters together. I'm so pleased that and that from that workshop, there were some clubs and area governors there. Evelyn has started the cluster from her area as well. We've got, James and Malcolm and, there's a whole lot of those guys. They're all together already discussing how they can progress the new year, the new Rotary year and that. And I'm really pleased that, and because they copy me into all the emails. So I'm really pleased that that is going well. I'd like to see more area governors. Unfortunately, there are not too many area governors on this afternoon, but I'd like to see more getting clusters working in their area all over and not just in Auckland. Where possible, I know it's a bit hard probably in some areas, but still try to work with clubs because it's just proven that when you work in clusters, work in groups, there's a lot more sharing of ideas, resources, membership projects, even speakers. And where, in one of the breakout sessions, we had one of the members on here this afternoon said, they've got one female and there's a bit of struggles and that. So if you work with clusters, then possibly they won't feel so lonely that they're the only female there. So that's just one idea on that. I will be that workshop that I did in April. I will run it again, and I'd like to probably run it with clusters within the clusters themselves. And it was, basically, if you weren't there, but it was basically what I asked was that clubs reflect on their club, reflect what they're doing, what keeps them interested, how they're doing, what they want to go forward, and just build from that. There are some resources, a lot of resources in Rotary.org. There should be some training everyone should take up, and if all else fails, your area governor's there and I'm there to actually help you all to sort your membership issues or talk to you in any respect, in any way you have. So before you actually try to take the problem, solve it in your own way, reach out to your area governor and to me, and let's all work together to see how we can actually retain members, increase our membership, and make your club more engaging, exciting, and you're wanting to belong to it, because you can't attract members if you yourselves don't feel a part of it and don't feel happy to be in Rotary. Yeah, that's me. If there are any questions, please reach out. Edith says, are we going to have a breakout? I don't know if we need a breakout. We can just reach out to me if you need questions.
It might be nice if people do go into a breakout after we've seen the public image video that can discuss perhaps in more detail what you've been asking. There may be a couple of questions you might like to pose for people when they go into that breakout, Ashwini, around what you'd like them, to bring back into the space in regards to discuss or share with the main group. So maybe have a think around those, a couple of questions that you want us to go back out into the breakout group. Okay. I see we've got Suzanne in the space. Suzanne, I'm not sure where you're from. Love to know.
Hi, downtown.
Downtown. Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday afternoon. Loving to have you in the space. We've had Jackie just hook off, so it's nice to have someone else on. Delia, I know that you are another one of our wonderful Pacific Island countries of Savu. Perhaps you'd like to also introduce yourself to the group, because we can do this in our lovely little group of 17 here today. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Sorry, who am I introducing myself to? To everybody?
Everyone, Delia. And you've had that great project, which was really about that we know that's got off the ground, and that's part of the environment and part of projects and engaging your members. So great examples to be using this afternoon.
Sorry, I'm a member of the Rotary Club in Savu. I'm the secretary. I've been a member for lots of years, and the particular project that Edith's talking about is a cafe, which is on a lovely lookout point above Savu, from the US Embassy, wrapped around economic empowerment possibilities. We needed to do further fundraising because during COVID, prices went up and the grant money ran out. And we also had considerable bureaucratic delays at the Fiji end. Anyhow, it is now up and running. It opened a couple of months ago. It is really busy, getting fantastic response from the local community. We're much busier than we anticipated. That in itself has brought us challenges, but that's fine. We're working through them. It is a learning curve in many ways, but we have got an extremely good manager who we've recruited from a private enterprise in Savu, who's actually managing it, training the staff up, making sure that the financial management is done properly, stock management, etc. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
Thanks, Celia. Lovely to hear from you and to catch up on that project. So has that, I suppose, when we go into breakouts, think about that as a project that maybe engaged more members, maybe for yourself as a Rotary Club in Savu, and or within the local community. So have a think about that when we go into breakout groups. John, I'm wondering if we can put on the the video presentation from Sarita McLean. She is currently the Zone 8. Zone 8 is Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, Talise and Papua New Guinea. And she is the public image coordinator. So she has kindly put this together on our behalf to share with our members this afternoon in the absence of Charles Miller, who is travelling at the moment, and he is currently the district chair for Public Image 9920. Thanks, John.
Can you all see the screen?
We can, thank you, yes.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Greetings to you all from Aotearoa Waitaha, Christchurch, Canterbury. I am Sarita McLean, the Regional Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and it is a privilege to present Public Image 101 for you today. As we are joined together today from across the Pacific, on behalf of all of us, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of us meet, live, learn, and work. I acknowledge and honor
This is the problem with streaming it.
Indigenous cultures, traditions, country, iwi, and nation, and pay my respects as appropriate to elders and leaders, kaumatua and kuia, past, present, and emerging. So today I'm going to focus on these 5 key things. Why do we need public image? Managing social media, creating short videos, telling your story, and some of the resources which are available. First question, why do we need public image? Well, we can't expect people to join us if they don't know about the projects we are involved in, the funds we have raised for a cause, Rotary's 7 areas of focus, the people whose lives we have impacted because Rotary has supported them and changed their lives. We can't expect Rotary to grow and thrive if we are not prepared to talk to the public and share our successes. This is the way we can be noticed by other businesses, organizations, and community groups who could be looking for a group to partner on a project or lend support through sponsorship. Elevating our public image will attract attention. Why do we need to do this? Well, Rotary can no longer be the silent giver. The world has changed and we are up against fierce competition with many other organizations who want to help communities in various ways. We need to become technologically aware and use it to our advantage as much as possible to show our point of difference. What is our point of difference? Our organizations do not have access to the Rotary Foundation, which can support our projects through district grants and global grants. We have the possibility to do large-scale projects across the world. So there's three key items why we need public image. One is recognition and awareness. Number two is growth. Number three is encouraging sponsorship and partners. What are the communication tools that we have available for us? Rotary International has two powerful communication tools designed to create visual recognition and emotional connection with Rotary's brand. Rotary's visual branding, it is Rotary's brand representation in logos, Rotary marks, colors, and typography of fonts. And Rotary's People of Action campaign, this has been a tool created to tell a visual and emotional story of work and the projects that we do, to create that emotional connection with community and the general public. A little bit more on this later. So looking at our image library, it is really helpful to have a library of images of your club activities that you can repurpose for your social media posts. Some things to remember: check the settings on your camera to the highest resolution before taking photos. Don't forget to download the photos from your phone and think about saving them. Have a filing system by month or by project. Tēnā koutou katoa. Greetings to you all from Aotearoa Waitākā. Of your club activities that you can repurpose for your social media posts. Some things to remember: check the settings on your camera to the highest resolution before taking photos. Don't forget to download the photos from your phone and think about saving them. Have a filing system. Save lives. Transform. To ensure that no matter where you are in the world, the message is the same. It's how we together strengthen Rotary's brand recognition worldwide. Now, which of these 10 verbs resonate with you? Well, for me, it is transform, because it's not just transforming yourself, it's transforming others and transforming our communities. So looking at managing social media, it is one of the most effective tools that we can use to strengthen Rotary's brand. It also enables to build awareness and understanding of how our members take action to create positive change in communities around the world. Making social media a part of your communication toolkit can connect your club with current and past members, prospective members, donors, and friends. Plus, it can increase your community's awareness of your club and activities. So how do you manage your social media presence? Very carefully. 1. Start with a plan. Work out what you want to achieve. Identify which platforms are right for your club and what you want to communicate to your online community. Number 2. Set goals to track your progress, but keep those goals specific and measurable, like you're going to increase the number of reactions and shares per post by 5% a year. Number 3, if you are just starting to build your online presence, choose your platform. You can't be all things to all people, so start small and focus on your efforts. Think about who you want to reach and where those people spend the social media time. If you're not sure, ask Google. What social media do people over 50 years old use most? I think it's Facebook. Number 4, share a mix of local and club content and mix it with stories from Rotary.org and Rotary social media accounts to show the breadth and depth of Rotary. Show your club in action, helping people in the community, networking and socializing, but keep the posts about meetings to a minimum. It is interesting to us internally, but not so much for people who are outside of Rotary. Number 5, get to know your audience. Keep an eye on the interactions with your post to discover what kind of content is getting the most engagement and build on that. Number 6, create a content calendar. This will keep you organized and ensure your social media activity is fresh and timely. Start with a 1-month calendar. Say, on week 1, create a post about the Rotary Month theme. All of the themes are, the images for all of these themes are on rotary-oceania.org under the public image section. If you're not sure, there's a whole lot of images have been created and we can actually send these out to you. Try and include a local example that relates to the theme. For example, this month being Youth Month. So maybe you could promote the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program, RILA program, and that you sponsored a student. So you are really telling a story. On the 2nd week, share a post about a project or upcoming fundraiser your club is working on. On the 3rd week, you might like to share a post from Rotary International. Check out the social media pages. And the last week of the month, maybe share something from the district social pages or create another club post. You may also like to schedule posts for special Rotary events like World Polio Day in October. Taking time to plan your posts will mean you're more likely to be successful in managing your social media as you're not scrambling for inspiration. Okay, so this is what a content calendar looks like. In case you don't know, very, very simple. Take a piece of paper, create for the year, and I have put in here for the three themes for May, June, and July, and tried putting together some content here. I guess end of June being changeover, most clubs changeover. One of your posts can be something around changeover at the end of the thanking the departing team and welcoming the incoming leadership team for your club. So you might like to complete a little exercise for me when you have time. So you can start creating a content calendar for the week, for the year. Plan out the topics for each of your posts. If you are using Facebook, you can schedule these posts in advance, meaning you don't have to be there in person to post. Okay, publicity is not just the fluffy stuff around the edge of the project. It is what sells your project and what gets the people there now and next time, and what inspires people to support your club and or even join as a member. So how do you promote your project or your club? Well, your brain can only processes visuals much quicker than it can text. Thousands of times faster, in fact. So if you only have a few seconds to engage somebody, video is a great choice. Plus, videos are really good at telling stories. So when you're creating a promotional video, think of the video as a teaser. The goal of your promo video is to get noticed, not to take this deep dive into your club. Think about what you're trying to achieve, who you're trying to reach, and what do you want them to think, feel, and do as a result of seeing your video. Spend time on the script. Make sure you cover off the who, what, where, when, why, and the how of the project in a concise way. Remember, we are not deep diving here, so stay focused. Consider the setting. Where are you going to shoot the video? What's in the background? Is there any Rotary branding visible? Will you pan around the area? Can you capture people working together or having a good time? Is the lighting right? And can you see the face of the speaker through the lens, or do you need to move? Don't neglect the sound. Are there any weather conditions or background noises that will affect the sound quality? Will someone be speaking to the camera? If so, get in close. Be adaptable. 3 golden rules to remember. Keep it short and simple. For Facebook, no more than 15 seconds. Number 2, answer the big question fast. Answer the key question the viewer will have. What is it in it for me? Why do I need to press play to hear this video? Aim for maximum exposure. Once the video is posted, share it. Get others to share it with their friends and family and followers. Another little exercise for you to complete. Write a short script to explain the 3 key reasons why you joined Rotary. And use your phone to make a 30-second recording. I'd be very, very interested to see how you get on with this little exercise. I'll share something with you. I tried doing this. I had to create a 45-second video to explain an aspect for my assignment. And I took about 10 or 12 attempts, and I could not get it less than 1 minute and 7 seconds without, killing the message. So it is a lot harder than you think. So get yourselves ready, so when it is time for you to make those videos, shoot those videos on your phone, you know exactly what you're going to do and say. And secondly, what you sound like on video. Right, the Brand Center. So the Brand Center is a wonderful resource to promote Rotary in the community. It helps all members to tell the stories of service and impact in a unified way, which is distinctly Rotary. Now it's easier than ever to learn about using our brand and create material to increase recognition of Rotary in your community, nearby communities, and even worldwide. A new webpage, our brand, which is up here, can guide you in using Rotary's logo, colors, and fonts to create flyers, brochures, presentations, and other promotional material with a consistent look and feel. To get started, the Brand Center, visit the Brand Center and go to Our Brand tab. You can also go to the Help section to find answers to frequently asked questions about using the Rotary brand and the brand materials. Use the promotional resources, the videos, the images, templates, and more to update your website and social media accounts to show your community that we are people of action. Here's a short video to give you an introduction to the Brand Center.
People experience Rotary by interacting with our clubs and programs, listening to stories we tell, and seeing our work in action. The Brand Center houses the Rotary brand assets you need to promote your club and the impact you have on your community. The navigation bar includes links to the homepage, our brand, downloads, templates, and people of action. Select this drop-down box to find shortcuts. From the homepage, you can explore the brand materials that are available, or use search to quickly find what you're looking for. To search, type in a keyword or phrase, press enter, then select an item from the search results. In Our Brand, learn how to effectively promote Rotary and your club. On the left, select a topic or scroll down to choose a section. From the left menu or from the links on the page, select a topic to explore. From the navigation bar, select Downloads to access promotional materials that help you tell the Rotary story. Saving brand assets to your computer is easy. Select the category of materials you're interested in and choose an item. Then select Download. You can even share an item. The Brand Center includes a variety of templates to create a logo for your club, district, or zone, or develop promotional materials. From the navigation bar, select People of Action. to find print ads, videos, digital ads, banners, and templates. If you need additional assistance, select Help and FAQ. The Brand Center is a helpful tool for clubs to use as they create professional communications that can help engage more members, donors, and partners to build stronger communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action.
Wonderful. Moving on, I talked about those templates, so you can certainly go and look at these templates and create your logo for your club. I'd like you to double check to see your logo is compliant, and if it isn't, it's certainly very, very easy to go through to the Brand Center and update your logo. So this is looking at your logos at a glance. Once again, this is there's a resource in there, and definitely you can see what your club logo should look like. It gives us that really good guidance material there. Remember, we want every club and every member to have a similar look and feel in our communications with the public. It is that word consistency that we're wanting to build on, whether we are in Tonga, in Christchurch, in Auckland, or Fiji, that we build awareness and understanding of Rotary, certainly in our zone. Some of the other resources available, definitely the Brand Center, the Learning Center, and there are a number of training available at the Learning Center about building Rotary's public image, our logo representing Rotary, promoting your club as people of action, and about the Rotary brand. Rotary International's e-learning modules, fun, easy, interactive way to upskill your knowledge and learn in your own time. And some of these are only 15 minutes per module. Other resources include the Rotary Zone 8 website, which is www.rotaryzone8.org, the Rotary Oceania website, www.rotaryoceania.zone, social media account, and Rotary Zone 8 YouTube channel we've also got as well. You also have access to the District Public Image team as well as the Zone 8 team. Okay, who to ask for help? Of course, your District Public Image team, you have your Club Public Image team, your Assistant Governors, the District Governor team, and of course the Zone 8 Public Image team. There are lots and lots of people to help you with your public image, and particularly with telling your stories. Reach out to any one of these or the District Governors, as you'll be working very, very closely with them. So thank you so much for your help and your attention and your passion, and continue doing the fantastic work that you're doing. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.
Okay, so that's public image. I just would like to take a temperature gauge on how many in the room actually utilize the Rotary resources as part of your public image. Hand up. Okay, 2, 3. Latoka, well done. And some of us were not sure. Okay, so here's the range that would be certainly across not only our district, but across the zone, and also, you know, the different groups. So can I suggest that from this public image space, that whatever you want to do better, have that strategy and that goal, and go and just do that one thing in the public image space. And if you don't have a public image person, we don't have someone in our club committed to that space. So we are, for our strategy for 23-24 is to actually to appoint all of us to actually go into the different spaces and be the champion around those different spaces, one space at a time over the next year. So, Ashwini, I see you're still in the space. We're going to go into one breakout group, and that's going to be for 5 minutes. Thank you, John. So into 2 groups around our question for membership is, have you formed your cluster groups? Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If so, how's that going? And if not, why not? And what is your elevator pitch to tell people about Rotary? Is that right?
That's right. Thanks, Edith.
And then the last part is around membership and public image. Tell us where your public image is currently sitting in your club and one goal for 23-24. Thanks, John.
So do you want just 2 rooms now, or do you want 3 still?
2 rooms. I think we've only got 2 rooms.
No, we've got 3.
Oh, we've got 3. Let's go for 3. Let's go for 3.
Okay.
We had a really good, robust discussion around our public image, and certainly around membership. So they're all sort of dovetailed into one. So I'd really like us to start with not our group, but the other group. Some key findings that you may have had that you'd like to share, and then I'll hand over to Evelyn for some key findings that our group had to share. So was that your group, Jointy, or Steve's?
Okay. Well, our group, we had Ashwini and Malcolm and Karunesh we had. And I just wanted to add on something that Ashwini has said about the cluster importance of having the cluster meetings, the group meeting. So my cluster, we had like 5, every 2 months, we've had meetings with the presidents. And the advantage of that is the presidents get to know each other, and then they can work on having joint guest speaker meetings, like 4 clubs, they combine and have the meeting. And there's about, if you have a good guest speaker, and you have turnout of about 80 plus people, if you have 3-4 clubs. So that was a really positive thing that our cluster did this year. So a lot of the clubs are doing that. And the other thing my cluster group is, we have an email group, and they all share the newsletters. The presidents share the newsletters. And by doing that, you actually getting to know what the other clubs are doing, what projects they're doing, whether you want to participate, combine. So there are 2 things I just wanted to add to what Ashwini had said on the cluster group. Anything you wanted to add, Ashwini, from our breakout?
No, I don't. I think we Karunesh said they used Facebook in Fiji, and I just logged into their Facebook, and yeah, it was brilliant sharing of things that they do in there. Yeah, Malcolm, do you have anything to add? No, good.
Okay, Evelyn, what about from our group?
So we were talking about the public image, saying that each club, if they do their own public image on the social media, if some photo is not really good one, may affect the image of Rotary. So we may be saying that it's a good idea we centralize that to the district. So district can able to check and clarify before publish it. Second thing is we got too many websites in the district, as I mentioned. So we got District 9920, we got Oceania, blah, blah, blah. So it's a bit confusing. And we also would like to have suggest to have some call or some people to take the course, like people asking about different of Christmas pudding, joint membership, whatever, if they transfer from other places. So I think this is what district can help as well.
Thanks, Evelyn. And one of our other key takeouts from our meeting was the business model that a lot of companies follow in regards to public image is the opportunity to have a PR company that is in this world 24/7, that aren't volunteers. This is their bread and butter. And that we need to, I suppose the word was professionalize ourselves and centralize the brand, the protection of the brand. That's number one. And two, the consistency of the brand, not only internally, but also externally to engage partners and potential sponsors. So from my experience in the last 3 years, I think it's a district level, this is something we have not done well. It's not a criticism, it is just what we've experienced. And the next steps or strategy that we can take back to a district level, and we can talk about this at convention, Evelyn, with the big Rotary International people, is that actually clubs doing it by themselves isn't actually working. And that we need a more professionalized approach across, whether it be a district, whether it be a zone, whether it be Oceania, so that we are all in the game and know that we are actually being consistent and we are protecting our brand. So I think those
we
were
are going to, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are going to visualization. So probably they will get a better thing for the public image in this stage after.
Great idea.
I
Holding that
think-
thought, public image regionalization. Any other comments from anyone?
I
Public
think
image and membership.
regionalization actually is probably going to look at that. They want one voice, and
Yes.
that will definitely make a difference. And they're going to give technological support and branding support. So yeah, it will unify, and I think it will make an impact.
Just to
Yeah,
clarify, just sorry, one thing I was going to say, I think it's the structure of how you set up social media. You know, like our social media accounts should be set up that whoever's in charge for the district, the zone, has access to everybody's social media. I think you don't want to. Social media is important to create on the ground relevant imagery, vote videos, engagement, and stuff like that. So you don't want to sort of, you don't want to be in a situation where we're policing that engagement, but we do want to be in a situation where there is some oversight, where if something that's posted incorrectly, somebody can take it down pretty quickly without it being a problem. That's probably the message I was.
That's true. That's good. Good point.
Good point.
And we're going to close on those positive notes around our brand, membership, and growing that membership. Today, we've talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion, what that looks like, sounds like, and feels like in your club. We've looked at the Rotary Foundation, our charity of choice, and we've looked at how Fletcher and the secretarial roles can be utilised to improve the administration of your club and how it functions in the incoming 2022-23-24 year. But most importantly, we as volunteers in this space, I want to thank you for the work that you do, for the time that you spend on that work, in addition to everything else that's in your space or on your plate, and that we are really, I believe, gifted in this space to have so many people with the skills and talents to actually take us forward. Is there more to do, and is there different ways to do it? Absolutely. So we are going to be part of that change coming into 2023, 24 and beyond. So ka nui te mihi kia koutou katoa, nā mihi kia koutou, mō te whakawhiti tai koutou te rā, me te kaupapa o te rā nei, LEDS 2022-23-24. And I'd really like to thank everyone on behalf of DG Vanita Nan for being present today. And I see your fingers just wiggling a little bit, Mr. DG and Vanita Nan. Over to you.
Well, you asked me to talk about the event that we're having on,
Yes.
On environment. I've already sent you the link, so you could actually share it with the whānau, but it's on the 26th of May at 6:30 p.m., but that's for 7 p.m. Cost is $60 per head. You can register for your meal, The meal is 3 meat dishes, 3 vegetarian, that is 3-course meal. Drinks are very cheap. It's $6 for wine, $6 for beer, which is really good. You have to book online and the payment can come online. It is at the Eden Bistro, which is in 30 Enfield Street in Mount Eden. And there's a lot of parking at that point in time. So if you could share it with the whānau, it would be really good. It's open to all the clubs and anybody else who is interested, and that will really help. And they have opened it to public even, because public needs to know what you're doing. And I think on the note of whatever you said, all the major functions, I mean, our club, whenever we have major function, we open it to public. And I think we have been able to get some members out of that. So that's how we do it. Thanks very much.
And we had Evelyn that put it in our chat as well. So something to look forward to for next week. So no further ado, thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank John Fothergill, Papakura, Rotary Club, come off a fundraiser this weekend to join us and to support me. We're the last two standing in the LEDS committee. Make
Yes,
that a note that, you know, when things go differently on the day, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be flexible enough to say, this is who we are, this is how it's going to happen, but it still can happen. And I think we are good examples of that, every one of us in this room today, that you need to be flexible and you need to ensure that this is the kaupapa. It will happen with 13 of us or 313 of us. So it will be recorded, or it has been recorded. It will be available up online, and I will be sending those links and thank yous out to whānau this week. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening.